Aaron Burr Jr. was born on February 6, 1756 to Aaron Burr Sr. and Esther Edwards Burr. His family was comprised of success stories, most notably Jonathan Edwards, writer of Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. Coming from so much wealth and acclaim, his job was to simply protect his family's legacy. Burr's early life was filled with tragedy. At just 2 years old, both of his parents died, leaving him and his sister Sally under care of his grandparents. They both died within the next 2 years, leaving Burr and Sally to drift between relatives until the age of 13, where he was accepted into the College of New Jersey. Graduating at 16, he soon moved to Connecticut to study law. However, he put these studies on hold when news of the revolution began to spread. Burr served under General Benedict Arnold during the war, who would be later convicted of treason himself. After resigning in 1779 over ill health, Burr resumed law practice and married his first wife, Theodosia. They moved to New York, where he became a successful lawyer. In the election of 1800, Jefferson chose Burr to be his running mate due to his relevance in New York in opposition to those in the Federalist Party. However, an error in the Electoral College led to a tie between Burr and Jefferson. Burr refused to forfeit a chance at the presidency and threw the vote to the House of Representatives, where Jefferson was elected president over Burr, in large part due to a timely endorsement by Hamilton. This escalated relations between the two and ultimately led to Burr's killing of Hamilton in a duel, ending Burr's political pursuits. With all hope of American political control gone, Burr turned towards other means of gaining power. Burr began his tour of the West in March of 1805 with his friend James Wilkinson. Speaking in code when they couldn't meet in person, they traveled to Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, and many other Western territories. There, he met with both British and American landowners, as well as military leaders. In July that year, as Wilkinson wrote in his report of the situation, he began to become suspect of Burr's motives that he had previously thought were pure. In late 1805, a meeting gone awry between Burr and Colonel Morgan led to Morgan contacting Jefferson to warn him of Burr's plans. Wilkinson, likely realizing the end of their plans, switched sides and became an informant. In September of 1807, Burr was caught and tried for treason and high misdemeanor. The evidence presented by prosecution included coded letters and testimonials from Morgan and Wilkinson, which was spun by Burr into a story of conquest of a Mexican land for American gain, despite Marshall, the presiding judge for the case, as well as the jury saying that Burr was likely guilty of treason. He was not found guilty. Marshall decided to strictly adhere to the Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution, which said that you cannot be convicted of treason unless 2 eyewitnesses were present for the same treasonous event. In addition, this article requires troops to be led directly against the U.S. by the said person, which Burr never did. Despite Burr being acquitted, his political pursuits were finally over. He traveled to Europe for 4 years, then returned to work as a lawyer again, remaining in obscurity for the rest of his life. There were a few crucial precedents set by this trial. Marshall adhered to Article 3 of the Constitution in one of the first treason trials of early America. Since Burr had not been with the treasonous troops he had allegedly sent to overpower Western U.S., he could not be directly linked to levying war against the U.S., one of the requirements. In addition, Burr could not be convicted without 2 witnesses to the same act, of which there were none. Finally, the court's decision reflected the importance of freedom of thought by upholding that Burr's plans were not treasonous because he could not be proved to act on them. Overall, Burr's treason trial helped to firmly cement the U.S. as a democratic power as well as set major important precedents on treason. By finding a defendant not guilty of something as dangerous and heinous as treason, even when the judge and jury admitted to having doubts about Burr's motives, the U.S. proved that it would stick to the laws it had created even when it wasn't for their benefit. American law, unlike that of many other countries at the time, would remain solid even when such egregious acts were being decided upon.